Hi, I'm Luke, Senior Technician at Fontain Motors. We've got an interesting vehicle in this week. We had an issue with it. Customer complaint was the steering assist was intermittent. So if you're driving down the road at speeds between 10 to 15 miles an hour, you'd have full assistance from the steering system and it would suddenly drop out and drop in and drop out. Subsequently, the customer actually curbed the car along the two near side wheels due to the sporadic nature of the assistance. First looking at the vehicle, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was something to do with the fluid side, so maybe a leak, pump. And we did actually find a leak on one of the hoses in the lower front engine bay. So we attacked that first, repaired the leak. Customer took the car away, seemed to be better. Unfortunately, a couple of days later, he was experiencing the same issues. We had it back in. Again, we went through what we know on modern power steering systems and came up with the thought that it was possibly the power steering pump, but stopped in our tracks when we realised that it's actually engine removal to replace these power steering pumps. We went back to the drawing board, looked at the technical information regarding the system and found out this actually employs the Servotronic steering system, which is an electrical adjustment of steering assistance. It employs a valve, solenoid valve in the actual rack itself, which is supplied by a control module, the onboard supply control module number 2, which lives up here under the dash, hence why the glove box is on the floor. We checked the power and ground supplies to that module and then scoped the output to the steering valve on the rack. We had good power supply to the valve and we also monitored current. It was drawing about 1 amp of current, which is within specification. When the car started to play up, the module could be heard to click, which suggests a relay maybe dropping in or dropping out. And at the same time, whilst we were monitoring the voltage on the scope, you could see there it's a pulse width modulated voltage supply, so it's a square wave signal, and you could see that sharp square wave begin to decay, and the current then dropped off for the Servotronic valve. The system at this point developed a fault code for the actual valve itself. It was stating it had a short to ground. Again, can be misleading, could have led someone to replace the valve on the rack, which necessitates removal of the rack, so quite an involved job. But through the testing that we took, employing the scope, current trace, and a little bit of luck on our side with the fault actually coming on when we had the scope attached, we were able to narrow it down to an electrical, like an internal fault within that control module for the supply to that valve. Replaced it, coded it in correctly. Subsequently, following an hour's test drive, we haven't had any repeat of the symptoms whatsoever. So we're happy in this case that this one is fixed.